Welcome everyone, I am Reverend Joel. In the name of our triune God, I am delighted to have you join us today. In this video, we are diving deep into a potent and a pursuing topic: stewardship, transparency, and accountability. We will explore what it means to be called by God to His stewards. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such content. Let's join together in today's meditation. Today, we gather on to reflect a vital aspect of our Christian walk: stewardship. Stewardship, at its core, is a responsible management and care of the resources that God has entrusted upon us. This comprehensively encompasses not only our financial resources but also our time, talent, and the environment. It is a profound expression of our faith, acknowledging that everything we have is a gift from God and should be used for His glory and advancement of His kingdom. Stewardship isn't merely about managing the resources. It's about recognizing our role as caretakers of God's blessings. It's about being faithful and responsible in how we handle what we have been given. Today, our focus is on two crucial elements of stewardship: transparency and accountability. As we get deeper into this subject, we have three scripture passages to meditate upon: Exodus chapter 36, verses 2 to 7, Philippians chapter 4, verses 10 to 20, and the Gospel according to St. Luke chapter 19, verses 11 to 27. Let us try to understand how these principles can transform our lives and our community. Firstly, we will look into Exodus chapter 36, verses 2 to 7. Here we see transparency and generosity. The Israelites have been freed from slavery in Egypt and were journeying through the wilderness under Moses' leadership. God had given Moses detailed instruction for building the tabernacle, a sacred place where he would dwell among his people. The construction of the tabernacle was a massive communal project that required significant resources. In Exodus chapter 36, verses 2 to 7, we see the Israelites responding to Moses' call for offering with remarkable generosity. Skilled workers, filled with the Spirit of God, and were appointed to oversee the construction. The people brought free will offerings every morning, and they were so generous that eventually there was more than enough to complete the work. This overwhelming generosity highlights the heart of stewardship, recognizing that what we have belongs to God and giving willingly and joyfully for His purposes. The people were transparent in their giving, openly bringing their offerings to support the community's sacred project. A crucial aspect of this story is that transparent communication between Moses, the workers, and the community. When the craftsmen reported that they had more than enough materials, Moses acted with integrity. He didn't continue to collect offerings needlessly. Instead, he instructed the people to stop bringing contributions. This openness ensured that the resources were managed wisely and responsibly. Transparency in stewardship means being honest about our needs and the resources that we have. It involves clear communication about what is required and how contributions are being used. This builds trust within the community and ensures that everyone is on the same page. The craftsmen and the leaders were accountable for the resources that are entrusted to them. They were responsible for using the contributions efficiently as well as effectively to complete the tabernacle according to God's instructions. This accountability ensured that nothing was wasted and the project was completed to the highest standards. Accountability is stewardship involves accountability in stewardship involves being answerable for how we use the resources God has given us. It means ensuring that we manage them with integrity and diligence, avoiding waste and misuse. By holding ourselves accountable, we honor God and fulfill our role as faithful stewards. As a church and as individuals, we must be open and honest about our needs and how we use the resources entrusted to us. This fosters trust and unity within our community. We are accountable for managing God's resources wisely. This means being diligent, avoiding waste, and ensuring that our actions align with God's will and purposes. That leads to Philippians chapter 4 verses 10 to 20, a mutual support and accountability. In Philippians chapter 4, Paul expresses his gratitude to the Philippians for their support and highlights key principles of stewardship, moral accountability, and support. This passage offers a profound insight into how these principles can foster a strong, caring, and supportive Christian community. Paul was filled with joy and gratitude, particularly for the Philippians, who, who had consistently supported him in his ministry. This letter is a testament to the deep bond and mutual support between Paul and the Philippian church. Paul begins by expressing his joy and gratitude for the Philippians' renewed concern for him. They had sent him aid through Epaphroditus, demonstrating their care and commitment to his well being and ministry. Paul acknowledges their generosity there, emphasizing that their support was not just a financial contribution but a tangible expression of their partnership in the gospel. Paul is transparent about his situation, openly sharing his needs and the support he had received. He doesn't hide his struggles or the generosity of the Philippians. This transparency builds trust and strengthens the bond between Paul and the Philippian church. In stewardship, transparency involves being honest about our needs and how contributions are being used. This openness ensures that everyone is aware of the situation and can participate meaningfully in meeting those needs. It also prevents misunderstandings and fosters a spirit of unity and cooperation. Trusting in God's provision and being content with what we have enables us to manage resources wisely and give generously. That leads us to Luke chapter 19, verses 11 to 27. Faithful stewardship. Jesus tells the parable of the 10 minas, which provides a profound lesson on stewardship, particularly regarding the use of our gifts and the principles of transparency and accountability. This parable sets against the backdrop of Jesus' journey to Jerusalem, underscores the importance of being faithful stewards of the resources and the talents that God has entrusted to us. In the parable, a nobleman goes to a distant country to receive a kingdom, and then he returns. Before leaving, he entrusts 10 of his servants with 1 mina each, instructing them to engage in business until he returns. When the nobleman returns, he calls the servants to account for their stewardship. The nobleman is clear and transparent about his expectations. He gives each servant the same amount, 1 mina, and instructs them to put it to work. This transparency sets a clear standard and expectation for each servant, ensuring that they understand their responsibility. In stewardship, transparency involves clear communication of expectations and goals. When we understand what is expected of us, we are better equipped to fulfill our responsibilities faithfully. When the nobleman returns, he holds each servant accountable for how they have managed the mina. The first servant reports that his mina has earned 10 more, and the nobleman commends him, rewarding him with authority over 10 cities. The second servant, who have earned 5 more minas, is also commended and rewarded with authority over 5 cities. However, the third servant, who hid his mina out of fear, returns it without any increase. The nobleman rebukes him for his lack of effort and takes the mina away, giving it to the servant who earned 10. This accountability underscores a crucial aspect of stewardship. We are responsible for how we use the resources and talents God has given us. Faithful stewards are proactive, using their gifts to produce fruit, while negligent stewards face consequences for their inaction and follow the red tapeism. The nobleman rewards not just the return on investment, but the servant's faithfulness and effort in fulfilling their responsibilities. As stewards, we are called to be diligent and proactive in using our talents and resources for God's glory. This means seeking opportunities to serve, invest, and produce fruit in our personal lives, our churches, and our community. The third servant's fate serves as a striking warning against the negligence and complacency by failing to use the resources that he has. He not only loses it, but also misses out on the reward and responsibilities given to the faithful servants. God expects us to use our gifts and resources no matter how small, for His purpose. Failing to do so is a failure in stewardship responsibilities. As Christians, what are we to do? First, we need transparency in our church community. Transparency fosters trust. As a church, we must be open about our financial needs, how funds are being used, and the impact of our ministries. This involves regular updates, clear communication, and being honest about the challenges and the success as well as the failures. Clear instructions and open communication are essential as shown in all three passages. Secondly, we have to be accountable in our personal lives. From Moses to Paul to the nobleman, accountability is a consistent theme. Each of us is a steward of the resources God has given us, our time, our talent, and the treasures. We must hold ourselves accountable for those and how we use these resources. Are we investing them in ways that glorify God and advance His kingdom? Or are we being faithful in our commitments and responsibilities? Thirdly, building a culture of trust. Each passage emphasizes the importance of using resources wisely and diligently for God's glory. Transparency and accountability are not just about finances, they extend to all areas of life. In our relationships, work, and service, we should strive to be transparent and accountable. This builds a culture of trust and integrity within our church and beyond. As we reflect on these scripture passages, let us remember that stewardship is a sacred trust. God has entrusted us with these resources, and He calls us to manage them with transparency and accountability. Let us commit to being a faithful steward, open in our communication, and responsible in our actions. By doing so, we honor God and strengthen our community of faith. Let us stand by faith and walk in faith, and let us be strengthened by the Spirit. May God bless you and enable you to be a good steward, following the transparency and accountability that is called upon for us. God bless you. Amen.